Maria Belen Bernal was born on March 14, 1988 in Quito, the capital of the Republic of Ecuador. She had a young son, Isaac. To bring up the child, she was helped by her mother Elizabeth. Maria from a young age was fond of lawyering and always strived to fight for justice. She earned a law degree, followed by 2 master's degrees from Simon Bolivar University of the Andes and Western California Law School. In addition to her studies for her legal experience, Maria worked as an administrative assistant in the State Attorney General's office. She also cared for her grandmother, who had cancer. Neighbors spoke of Maria as a girl with an open mind, very sweet and kind. She often provided them with free legal assistance. This is how she earned the respect of the people around her. Maria's personal life was going very well. In 2017, she married Herman Caceres. At that time, he was a police lieutenant. After marrying Herman, Maria and her 13-year-old son Isaac moved to the south of Quito to the neighborhood of Conacoto. After marrying and moving, Maria continued to develop as a lawyer and took a job with the law firm GRU Criminal Defense. The organization assisted with cases of human abuse, gender inequality and violence, child support payments, and police protection. Maria had an active Facebook account where she showed her support for feminism and once posted a post with the caption, "I was born to be free, not murdered." Bernal also created a TikTok account so that people could report incidents of violence there. She also made a video for TikTok where she talked about how she was also abused by her father's relatives. She also made a video for TikTok where she talked about how she had also been abused by her father's relatives. The year Maria died, she was working on one of the most high-profile cases of her career. It involved the deceased Alejandro Palis, his family, and the police transportation patrol in the capital city of Quito. Alejandro Palis died as a result of being hit by a traffic patrol. Maria was able to prove the guilt of the police officers in the accident. Thanks to this case, she gained the respect of many fellow lawyers, but also began to have enemies. And already after the case was closed, in the summer of 2022, Belen was completely attacked, where she was threatened with her life and health. She talked about it in a TikTok video, and there she also pointed out that it was 2 police officers. 2 months after this video, Maria's husband came to the National Police Department for the investigation of deaths, disappearances, kidnappings, and extortion, where he reported that his wife was missing, and for 2 days, no one knew her whereabouts. The case of Belen's disappearance was taken to investigate by General Alain Luna. He was the head of the police logistics department. Caceres was assured that the police would do everything possible to find Maria. And indeed, the investigation was launched very quickly. The next day, September 14th, investigators showed up at Herman's workplace to conduct a bedroom search. He did not like it very much, and he refused the search. But later he himself came to the prosecutor's office and told everything about the day when he saw Maria for the last time. Herman said that on September 12th, when she came to him at night to work, they quarreled, but then they got into Maria's car together and went home. While they were driving, they had another argument, after which she got out of the car to take a cab home, separate from Herman. Because the police suspected him of missing Maria Belen, they held him at the police station from 2:40 p.m. to 10:45 p.m. During that time, they managed to find several stories related to the violence and aggressive behavior of Caceres towards his former female companions. The officers also set up surveillance on Herman. The morning after the interview, police officers arrived to search the homes of Caceres, his parents, and his sister. But they found nothing. The only thing they discovered was that the motorcycle on which Herman had left not long before their arrival was missing from the garage. This further strengthened the conviction that he had a direct connection with his wife's disappearance. Herman Caceres' behavior helped to remove suspicion from the police officers that Maria talked about in her TikTok video. The investigation also revealed that no one was expecting Maria Belen that night, and after she showed up at her spouse's room, they closed up and made a lot of noise. According to the cadets who saw Maria, after their argument with their spouse, Caceres left the room with a very strange bundle of blanket, placed it in his spouse's car, and drove off somewhere. The police also found out that between 4 and 5 a.m. there was again a lot of noise in Herman's bedroom, but female moans could already be heard. Caceres' bedroom was searched and found empty beer bottles, bloodstains on the mattress, and a strange handprint on the wall, as well as drops of blood all over the car. The blood found was sent for forensic testing, which confirmed that it was Maria's blood. Based on this evidence, the investigation concluded that Maria was dead and that it was in the lieutenant's room that she was killed. Police may speculate that the lieutenant, who was found to have the evidence and testimony, is involved in the case and may be a suspect in Maria's murder. Information about Maria Belen's disappearance and the suspected involvement of her husband Caceres has caused a huge public outcry. The support provided by Maria's mother, Elizabeth, and community organizations shows the desire to find the truth and bring the perpetrators to justice. Maria's son, Isaac, has been actively using social media to encourage the public to get involved in the search for his mom. To do this, he has created a Twitter page asking for help in the search and has also written that his stepfather was the last person to see Maria alive. The media is also playing an important role in this process by providing information about the missing person, thereby attracting the attention of a wide audience. They encourage people who have any information to report it to the police. State authorities are taking active steps to investigate the case. Caceres' dismissal from his police position and his official detention as a suspect confirm the seriousness of the allegations and the intention to guarantee justice in this case. In order to ensure a more successful search for Maria Belen, searches and operations involving special police squads are underway. The police have promised a reward of $20,000 for the capture of the perpetrator. The situation continues to evolve in the hope that through the joint efforts of law enforcement, the public and the media, the truth will be revealed, the missing person will be found, and the perpetrators will be brought to justice. The investigation into the murder of Maria Belen continued, and investigators came across several interesting circumstances. It was September 21st. First, the girl's body was found in a ravine on Cerro Castillo Hill, just 10 minutes away from the police high school. This indicated the possibility that someone on the school staff was involved in the murder. Second, the forensic medical examination showed that Maria had been strangled with a belt. However, she also had serious head injuries, 2 hematomas, one of which resulted in a cerebral hemorrhage. This indicated that she had been severely beaten before the murder. The third interesting fact was that Maria had no serious injuries to her chest, abdomen, pelvis, back, or arms. This was inconsistent with the testimony of witnesses who saw Herman drag the body to the car. Investigators speculated that the body was carried by 2 people to avoid additional injuries. In addition, Maria's body had undergone little to no decomposition process and did not have a strong odor. This indicated that it had been buried recently on a hill near the police school. All these facts indicated that Maria Belen's murder was well planned and could have been committed with the help of someone from the police school. It turned out that in Herman's room was a cadet of the higher police school, Jocelyn Brigadier Sanchez. And at the time of the fight between Maria and Herman, she was nearby and heard everything. After it was found out, Jocelyn became a suspect in complicity in the crime, and the General Prosecutor's Office issued a warrant for interrogation and subsequently the arrest of the cadet. During the interrogation, Brigadier said that on September 10th, she was at a party with her comrades, and Herman was there. He was very drunk and flirted with Jocelyn. She could not reject the lieutenant because of his high position in the police. She was afraid that she might be expelled from the police high school. When Herman got the girl's attention, he invited her to his bedroom. But he received a phone call and reported that his wife Maria came to him. He was also told that she was very angry. The young cadet stated during questioning that she had not seen Herman's wife, because at the moment when she came to his room, Jocelyn was already deeply asleep. She did not hear or see anything. She assured the police that if she had heard Maria asking for help, she would have helped her immediately. But all of Jocelyn's words were not true. Her lawyer provided investigators with evidence. A videotape where the cadet said she was intimate with Herman in the early morning hours after his wife disappeared. Brigadier tried to justify herself and claimed the video was edited, and she also filed a complaint against her attorney for disbarment because he had violated the attorney-client agreement. But that turned out not to be the only evidence. Jocelyn had a friend with whom they were texting on WhatsApp that night, where Jocelyn narrated a fight between the couple. But as police found Maria's body, the partner in crime asked her friend to delete the correspondence. In addition to this striking evidence, prosecutors found about 35 other clues that proved Jocelyn's involvement in Maria Belen's disappearance. The next actions included further investigation and the arrest of the cadet, who was apprehended as a suspect in Maria's murder. Charges were filed against her for the crime committed using official police status. Maria's murder became the focus of public attention and sparked a serious debate about police corruption and human rights violations in Ecuador. Many critics have argued that the police need to be reformed and more control over their activities. Elizabeth, Maria's mother, reached out to the country's president, Guillermo Lasso, on Twitter, and he responded to her, expressing his condolences and promising an independent investigation. He also supported challenges to accountability for crimes committed by police officers and called for strict measures against those responsible. In light of the incident, human rights organizations, feminist groups, and advocates for changes in law enforcement continued to demand police reforms to avoid the recurrence of such crimes in the future. On September 22nd, Maria Belen was buried on the Olive Mountain of Camposanto. After the funeral, the government authorities stated that Caceres' act did not reflect the entire police force, but was just an isolated incident that tarnished the image of the entire organization. Also, Interior Minister Patricio Carrillo appeared on television, offering his condolences and speaking out about the gruesome crime. President Guillermo Lasso decided to defuse the situation in the country and suspended General Freddy Goys, National Director of Investigations of the Judicial Police, and General Giovanni Ponce, National Director of Civil Security and Public Order. Lasso publicly apologized for allowing such an incident to happen in the Republic, much less in a top police school that is supposed to protect the citizens, and instructed Police Major Fausto Salinas on getting the final results and the capture of Police Lieutenant Caceres, and also called for the resignation of the Interior Minister for his remarks. Lasso set a deadline of a week to accomplish these tasks, but the police failed to do so in that time, and the criminal was caught only on December 30th. Herman had been hiding very well all this time at large. The police tracked him through CCTV cameras and listened to phone conversations. After that, a joint operation with the Colombian police was carried out. The alleged territory where the criminal was located was investigated, and even Interpol was involved. Witnesses were interviewed who reported a suspicious man with a long beard and cap who worked as a bartender in Palomino. In the end, Caceres was detained without resistance at his arrest that same day. And soon paperwork was ready for his deportation from Colombia. Without waiting for the investigation to be completed, the president of Ecuador rushed to inform the public that the criminal had been caught and would be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Herman Caceres fully admitted his guilt and was sent to La Roque Maximum Security Prison, which is located in La Guajira. During the interrogation, he gave a detailed account of the crime committed. On September 11th, Herman was very drunk. He received many calls from his wife, and when he finally answered, he heard that Maria was very angry and said that she would soon come to see him at the police high school for a serious talk. As soon as she entered Herman's bedroom, she saw a bright spot on her husband's neck. Maria immediately asked about the fidelity of her husband, and he did not deny anything, and even boasted that he has been cheating on her for 5 years. And now, between the spouses, there was a scandal, which turned into an unequal fight. Herman began to brutally beat Maria. She called for help, but everything was in vain. The perpetrator applied judo techniques to his victim and began to strangle her. All this happened around 1 a.m. At some point, Herman realized that Maria was dead, wrapped her in a blanket and carried her to her car. The next day, Caceres acted as if nothing had happened, and in his spare time, he attempted to dispose of all evidence of the crime. In the evening between 7 and 8 o'clock, he left in his wife's automobile. No one suspected anything because he acted as usual, as if he was just doing his job. The perpetrator headed to Casatava Hill, where he buried Maria's body. Herman claimed he acted alone, with no accomplices. On Monday, Maria's mother Elizabeth called Herman to inquire about her daughter's whereabouts. He said they had an argument, and Maria had left in an unknown direction. At that, Caceres was on his usual behavior, but his mother-in-law insisted that he file a missing persons report. Herman Caceres for a long time did not dare to take this step, but still did it, in the hope that it will be able to take suspicion away from him. After telling the police everything, he took the right to remain silent and not answer questions, as he felt that punishment would be inevitable. The trial dragged on, and more evidence began to come into the case. A recording was found in Maria's cell phone of her screams and pleas for help, which she had recorded on a tape recorder. The same recording helped Cadet Jocelyn to avoid serious punishment, as it was proved that she was not in the bedroom at the time of the crime. Her punishment was a ban on leaving the country. After Jocelyn was released, she publicly thanked the women who supported her. But her speech was interrupted by Elizabeth, who blamed her for her daughter's death, as she was Herman's mistress, and did not respond to cries for help. Currently implicated in the death of Maria Belen Bernal are believed to be Herman Caceres, Jocelyn Sanchez, and Police Lieutenant Alfonso Camacho. Alfonso was in the building at the time of the crime and could not help but hear the screams, for which he was found to be involved. But the only one who was jailed for the crime was Caceres. Although 3 people were found guilty, the entire police department is actually to blame for their inaction. Herman's lawyers are asking to reclassify the case and convict him for deprivation of human life and not for femicide. On January 15th, the prosecutor's investigation was completed, after which the prosecutor's office is expected to request a new date for a preparatory hearing for the others involved in the crime. Ecuadorians are following the case closely, and many women are hoping for the strictest possible punishment for all those responsible, which will help prevent not only domestic violence, but also law enforcement inaction.